Welcome back into Iggy Sports Talk. I'm your host, Jake Nazuski, or Iggy for short. I want to thank you so much for tuning into this episode. But even though the NFL season ended just 2 months ago, we are less than 3 weeks away from the NFL draft. And there's still so much speculation on what can happen, especially at the quarterback position. I think the only thing that is known is that Caleb Williams is probably going to get drafted number 1 by the Chicago Bears. But I think there's just so many question marks remaining on what can happen within that top 5, maybe even top 10 as well of the first round. But if you missed my last episode, I had the opportunity to speak with ESPN draft analyst Field Yates about the mental traits that the quarterback prospects have shown so far throughout the process. But in this episode, I spoke with Mike Tannenbaum, who is the current NFL front office insider for ESPN and is the former New York Jets general manager, about which teams could trade up in the draft to try and get a quarterback, as well as what teams could draft a quarterback, whether it's in the first round or the later rounds that maybe we're not talking about right now. But in Tannenbaum's recent mock draft, he has 4 quarterbacks going in the first 4 picks of the first round, with Caleb Williams going to the Bears, Drake May going to the Commanders, Jaden Daniels going to the Patriots with a number 3 pick, and at number 4, the Cardinals picking up J.J. McCarthy. And he has a lot of different interesting trades in there as well, and some surprising picks of quarterbacks going to some teams that I honestly didn't expect. But he's going to answer more of that in just a few seconds. So with that being said, let's get into my conversation with Mike Tannenbaum. Which team do you think is most likely to trade up for a quarterback?
I think it's going to be Minnesota. I can't imagine they made that trade with Houston to sit there with 2 1s, given the void they have. No offense to Sam Darnold, but I can't imagine they're sitting there saying, hey, Sam Darnold's going to answer all our problems. So I think it's, sort of like them and then draw a line. But I think that other pack of like Denver, the Raiders, I think you can even make an argument about the Saints with Derek Carr last year with guaranteed money, could be in that conversation as well.
Quick follow-up, if I may. You brought up like Bo Nix potentially going to the Rams, or like the Saints looking for a quarterback. Is there any other teams that might not be looked at as, quarterback centric that could maybe pick a quarterback, whether it's in the first or second round?
Yeah, to me, it's the Rams. Again, because I think Stafford's closer to the end than, the beginning. And certainly, them, the Saints, obviously the Raiders. I think there's a number of teams that could be in that market. Look, I don't think Tennessee is going to take a quarterback. They're desperate for an offensive lineman, but in the second or third round, you get another young guy behind Will Levis. I don't think you could rule that out, by any stretch. So I think by the time, look, I have 6 of the first round. I think by the end of the second day, we're looking at least 9 or 10.
I hope that you did enjoy my conversation with Mike Tannenbaum and got a little bit of an understanding of some surprises that we could see in this year's NFL draft, as well as, where we could see some of these quarterback prospects land on draft night. To be honest, I didn't expect some of the things like J.J. McCarthy going to the Arizona Cardinals. I honestly think that they could probably get a wide receiver or an offensive lineman. And, they just extended Kyler Murray, but who knows, especially with the quarterback carousel that we've seen not only throughout this past season, but in recent seasons. You never really know what you're going to see in this league. But speaking about J.J. McCarthy going to the Cardinals, as Mike Tannenbaum has in his recent mock draft, he actually thinks that the Vikings could trade their 11th pick to the Cardinals for Kyler Murray in this year's 3rd round pick. So then the Vikings would fill in their quarterback need, as well as the Cardinals would replace Kyler Murray with J.J. McCarthy. But the one thing I'm most curious about as a Patriots fan is what is going to happen with the 3rd overall pick. Is Jaden Daniels going to fall to them, or is he going to go to the Commanders? Same with Drake May. It's all going to be really interesting to see how it all shakes out. But I hope you were able to get some insight and a little bit of a better understanding through this episode. And I also have another episode coming out in the next few weeks with Mel Kiper Jr., sort of speaking about the transition that players have mentally going from college to the NFL and some of the misconceptions that people may have on the outside of how difficult that transition really can be from a mental side. But as you know, with Iggy Sports Talk, I always really try to go from the mental aspect of sports and really try to help you get a different perspective on not only sports, but just life. And the more that I can do that, the more I feel like I'm really living out my purpose. So if you not only want to hear more episodes just like this one, speaking about, some of the biggest storylines going on in sports, as well as peeling back some of the layers of the deeper aspects of sports and life, as some of the other episodes that you may have seen through this podcast. Make sure to subscribe over on YouTube or wherever audio platform that you listen to. I post bi-weekly and have so many great episodes already in the vault ready to be posted. So I greatly appreciate everybody's support over the last few weeks or so, especially in the last few episodes. It's been really amazing. But also, if you want to get updates regarding the podcast, you can follow the Instagram. It's at Iggy's Sports Talk. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, or let me know through Instagram. Let me know what player you hope that your favorite NFL team drafts in just a few weeks. For me, as I said, as a Patriots fan, I'm really hoping that as Jaden Daniels, the Heisman winner, getting compared to Lamar Jackson, if he can do anything close to being better than Mac Jones, I think Patriots fans will be happy. But thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'll see you and talk to you next time. Peace.